Georgia Governor Brian Kemp also saying very little about the pandemic. He has not given a full public update on coronavirus since before the election. Today, though, he tweeted a reminder to Georgians to wear masks, social distance, and get a flu shot. He also renewed his executive order on coronavirus guidelines. It calls on everyone to continue healthy practices like frequent hand washing. It also continues limiting gatherings to 50 people or fewer. We have not seen that during campaign events. And people in high-risk categories need to shelter in place. The order extends until November 30th. The governor also renewed the state of emergency until December 14th. That activates 1,000 Georgia National Guard troops to help as needed.